Hey, hi, how's it going? My name is Ade, and I've decided to become a pro natural bodybuilder this year. And I'm going to show you everything I do on a weekly basis to basically make that dream a reality. What I'm going to do is walk you through my starting point, my training plan, nutrition, cardio, and the shows that I have planned to attempt to go pro in. And then if you have any questions about any of these phases or any of my planning going into it, I'm going to make a video on a weekly basis to document everything. And if you put your comment in the, or if you put your question in the comment section down below, then I'll answer the question on the following video. First things first, this is not how I look at the moment. This is how I looked after winning my first show last year in April. And I won my class and overall. And now I look more like this. So this is what I want to use as a starting point comparison. So around the same time, the previous year I looked like this in January, and this is how I look at the moment. I took this picture a couple days ago. Now, one of the few things I wanted to work on going into the off season was my chest, my abs, and then also my leg development. And I can safely say that those are the things that I think I improved on the most. Over here, you can see from the front, my abs are a bit more flat, and even from the side, you can see it's a bit more defined as well. At the same time, you can see a bit more development in my chest, especially upper chest area. I spend a lot of time doing incline pressing to develop the muscle fibers in my upper clavicle area. And you can also see that my posture is a lot more improved, so it even makes me look better in these relaxed poses. The other thing that I worked on was my legs. To be fair, I just came off a calf injury, so I didn't train legs as much as I did in time between there and now. So my legs wouldn't have been great anyway, but I've also learned how to flex them a lot more and then train them better too. So I've got a lot more development in my hamstrings too. Uh, Not too much for calves because of the injury, but I'm hoping within the next 2 years it gets a lot better. So the back is where you can see a lot of my shortcomings, as in areas I need to work on. And basically, as I bulked, I gained a lot of weight, and I think I maintained a lot of my weight in my lower back as well. So it shows a lot here. However, there is a lot more development in the structure of my lower back, or in the structure of my back and my posing. Assuming by the time I lean out, this will be a lot more pleasant to look at and less flabby. And then also, I have tried to focus on my hamstrings a bit more. This is just because I think I'm tensing a little bit, so it looks a bit weird. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the development of my legs as well. And then here, I think you can see a lot of the effect of the incline pressing in terms of my shoulder development too, which I'm not too upset about. I think anyone can always do with more shoulders, which is great. So that's it for my starting point. I'm going to go over my training plan at the moment. So this is my training plan, and I'm not saying this is what works for everybody. I wouldn't prescribe this to anybody to do if they didn't want to, but this is basically what works for me and what I'm going to keep doing basically until it stops working. So I train every single day, and at the moment I'm also training twice a day. So in the morning, I'll do cardio and this session. And this session is basically just to work on my weaknesses, which are calves and abs. I do that on an alternate basis. And I added a muscle group I want to work on just to make the session feel a bit more full. So that's the morning session. And then in the evening or sometime in the afternoon later on, I'll work on the specific muscle group that I want to work on for that day. And that's what this is. So I do one individual muscle group a day, apart from when it's shoulders, when I do all the three heads of the delts, and then arms, I just put them together because it's easy to go from biceps to triceps without feeling too fatigued. And a lot of my sessions are based around my fatigue levels. I realized in my previous training, I had a lot of volume, but I couldn't put as much intensity into the sessions. But with this lower sort of volume overall, I'm able to basically train with a lot of intensity all throughout the session. And I think even at this point, because my conditioning is the thing I want to work on the most, I might actually add cardio to the end of these sessions as I get more comfortable with them. If you want more information about my training routine or anything like that, you can put it in the comments if you have a specific thing you want to know, and I'll answer it in the following video. But yeah, this is how my training is split out. Going into nutrition, this is how I've set up my calories and my macros. The main priority is to make sure I eat as much protein as possible. What I noticed during my last prep was that for some reason, whenever I was low on protein, I found it harder to maintain intensity and focus during my session. So this time around, I want to try counter that and be proactive. So I've kept my protein as high as possible, and I plan to do that throughout the whole training up until, let's say, it's getting close to peak week and I'm not seeing the sort of conditioning or anything that I want. I might reduce it to bring my calories down. But the main thing that I'll be working with is carbs. So I've kept my carbs at 200, and the reason why you might think it's low is because carbs are really just for energy. So I'm not too concerned about having too much or too little. I want to keep it as low as possible so that my calories can stay as low as possible. But at the same time, I want my protein to be as high as possible. So when it comes to later on in the prep and I need to start reducing my calories, I'm going to take it from my carbs first and then just use other means to recover better. So when it comes to hydrating before the session, keep my electrolytes high, sleeping appropriately, all these other things will come into play before having to reduce my protein, because I think that's the last thing I want to get lower. My fats are actually quite, I'd say they're moderate to low, but I don't plan to keep it. I don't plan to reach this much fats because most of my fats will be coming from my protein sources and not external things. So I won't be eating any peanut butter or anything like that. It's not really a part of my diet. I can go into detail about what I'm eating as well if you want. Just leave a comment about it and I'll put that in the next video. So in terms of cardio, I've only recently started doing the amount that I want to do. So beforehand, I was doing 30 minutes, 36 minutes. I was kind of just working to see what my tolerance would be. And as I've increased my tolerance, I can now use the amount I want to do. So my plan is to do 45 minutes of cardio every single day and then just alternate between the stairs and the bike. I find the stairs harder, so I don't want to do it every single day, but I understand the importance of conditioning. So I want to make sure that at least on the day I'm not training hard on the stairs, I'm still working on my cardio and doing everything it takes to get leaner. So for now, it's 45 minutes on both of them. I think like I mentioned earlier, as I get further into prep, I might add 15 minutes at the end of my second session to make the most out of that time. So the last thing I want to go over is my planned shows. At the moment, I'm just going to stick within one federation. I know there's another one in UK called, I think, Two Bros, Two Pros, and I think that one's actually a bit more popular as well. I'm not too sure. But basically, I'm going to stick with PCA and then just do their shows. If I get, I don't know, let's say I get into, after my second planned show and things aren't looking good, then I might look into other federations and compete in there too. But so my first show that I have planned is the NT1, the natural show on the 18th of April. So I'm just under 15 weeks out from that. And I don't think, I'll be interested to see if I win. I don't think I will, because I think a lot of natural pros are actually, or a lot of natural competitors are actually quite conditioned, and that's my weakness. It will be rare that somebody will be bigger than me, but it's not unlikely that somebody will be more conditioned than me. But I want to just do the first natural show and see how everybody is, see what the competition level is like, and then after that, I'll just enter as much pro qualifier shows as I can, and hopefully, as the year progresses, I'll get in better condition and be able to win at least one out of 4 of these shows. I don't plan to go to Worlds for PCA show. To be fair, all these shows are pretty far from me, but I don't have this in mind as one of the shows to compete in. So the first one I want to do is the NT1, and then I'm going to go into the PCA universe. So this one isn't tested, and I also don't think I'm going to win here. But I think this is where I have the best possible chance, being that it's early in the year and I don't think people actually compete this early, or like I don't think they take the competitions early on as seriously. So maybe the competition level won't be as high. That's like fingers crossed, but who knows? The main plan is to win the Naturals Championship. So assuming that I place at least top, I think it's top. I actually don't know what it takes to qualify for this, but I'm hoping if I just place top 3, I'll qualify and then basically compete here. And by then it would have been a few months would have passed where my condition will be a lot more improved, and hopefully I have a high chance to win this show here. And being able to win a natural show and qualify with that would be, I feel like it's like a nice accolade to have as opposed to the other shows. And I think if I place top 3 in any of these shows, then I qualify for these other shows, which is where they have financial prizes in these shows. So it would also be a nice perk for competing and placing. I think placing top 3, you win something. So that would be nice. I don't think I'll place top 3, but the idea of it would also be cool. So to recap, I think this is my best chance of winning a pro card. This will be the coolest one to win, and these 2 are unlikely, but I'll still compete and bring 100% just to say I give it my best shot. All right, that's everything for now. Like I said, I'm going to show you what I'm doing on a weekly basis and show my progression in terms of weight, in terms of how my training is going, and also what my calories are looking like, just so you have an idea of what it takes to bring this condition in and also compete in bodybuilding. If you're interested in having any questions, just drop it in the comment section below. Apart from that, I'll see you around. Bye.